Greetings and salutations, Ben here. Welcome to Canucks with Guitars live Q&A show with a Canadian spin for the most part. Like I said, I'm Ben. That's Terry. That's Tom. If you're new, please subscribe. New or returning, I fully appreciate a thumbs
You didn't
up.
see nothing.
The thing. And I'm going to get right into the chat tonight because we already got 21. Nope. 23. Nope. 24. Nope. 23. That one guy really didn't know. That's not for me. Let's see. Who do we have in the chat? We have the Hitman Dwight Bailey, Gear Joke 35, Hip Metalworks, Mahogany, Fret Level Midnight, AQ Music, the one and only David Nesdall, Michael Lepansky, Magic Man, Janice Lala, Matthew Stewart, Thomas Santiago,
Hope you're having a better day today, Janice.
Fret Live Midnight. Who else do we have in here? Terry's 3Gs, never heard of him. Fruitcake Tony in the house. Symmetry's here.
What's up, Tony?
JP Page 2. Absolute Mayhem. Martin Lemaire. James Pava. Music Therapy Laz will be lurking while driving. Well, pay more attention to the driving than the lurking. L&M Guitar Corner's here. What's up, Martin? I was talking about you last night. Scrolling down the bottom because, that way I don't miss guys like Timothy Matthew. Hello and welcome. Zach Thong is here. BC Rich 581. I think Timothy Matthew is a new person. Welcome, my friend.
Welcome.
John Duchesne. Benjamin Payne.
Benjamin Payne. I hope that's his real last name. That's the best name.
Makes me think of the movie like Major Payne.
Ben Payne. Doesn't it?
Yep.
Benjamin Payne, otherwise known as, and then the character.
Otherwise known as Benji from New Zealand, apparently.
Oh, there you go.
Awesome. So, yes, if you have any questions, definitely ask away. We've got answers.
Good evening, Mr. Nesdall.
That are in the head that we'll discuss. We'll just give it another minute because, Thomas Duffy hasn't found a seat yet. Dave Ennis just got in the door. Vince RJ was reaching for the door, but Charles 71. Hold it for
RJ. Vince RJ's coming in. Hold it for him, Charles.
Yep. Speaking of which, all of a sudden pops up my feed. There's Charles 75 and Demwing, the nice drive, 2 months ago. Finally showed up my feed. Thanks, YouTube. It's awesome. Leo. Good to see Leo in here. All right, we got 41 people in here.
Wow, nice. Nice to see everyone.
Yes. So, how was your weekend, Terry?
How you doing?
I see you survived it.
Santiago. Yes.
No, I didn't totally survive it. I got a nice little gash on my finger from
seeing that.
Cutting some wood for a project. Yeah. Always remember to wear actual work gloves.
It makes a difference because those top layers of skin rip off so quick.
Yeah, I thought it was
a great Fretland Midlight's going to crack another. Was that Yinglings?
I like that in the house. Pain. Okay, I get what you're saying.
How was your weekend, Tom? You survived, I see.
I did. I survived. It was good. Yeah. Not what I could say. I survived.
Hey, Merc Taff.
Another Yingling. Are you in Pennsylvania Fret Level Midnight or just somewhere where you can get Yingling?
Good question.
I mean, I always remember growing up, Yingling was that's everywhere you went. You saw Yingling more than like Budweiser or Coors.
I will say, I think I had a productive weekend. I've actually already completed all the NASCAR races viewing. I actually watched them on the same days they happened.
Nice. Wow.
Watched the Saturday race Saturday night, and then last night after last night's show, amazing how that happens, watched the Cup race.
Nice.
Didn't get a lot of sleep last night, so I'm dragging derriere, as they say, so I didn't do a whole lot today. Still need to shoot the demo to go out Wednesday for the offset delay. We'll see how that works out, because I don't know about where you guys are, but it was like 41, 42 degrees and raining. So, and cold and damp in this body do not cooperate.
Yeah.
So,
Yes, it's actually still lightly raining here, and I actually have the furnace on slightly to keep it like around 71.
Oh, I've had the furnace on for a week.
Yeah, we have like rain and right now and thunderstorms on and off.
Aha! We have a question, and I already have an answer.
Yes,
Canucks,
it
is there a good guitar course you'd recommend? Terry, do you have a guitar course that you would recommend off the top of your head?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe Mr. Robert Baker's guitar course?
Baker has some excellent courses. Tom, recommendation?
I usually only do separate like lesson things. Like I have two of RJ's, a slide one and another one. And then I have
take my pick. Yes, RJ Ronquillo has lessons and or courses out there.
I have one it's either from Rhett Shull or Rick Beato. I can't remember which one, but it's really good, but I don't know it's one of them. It's like
also, there's a handful of lesson videos out there. I don't know if it's a course per se, but Johnny Hyland's done some lesson videos.
Oh, Johnny
Hyland, that kind of stuff.
Other than that, I really like.
Baker and RJ. Those are my two choices, and both alumni of the channel.
Yeah.
There's a British guy, a YouTuber named Levi Clay, who's just an insane transcriber. He can sit there and transcribe at the keyboard. At the computer keyboard with his mouse and keyboard, with no guitar, but hearing it, singing the notes, and then he puts them in the staff, and he puts the notes in the staff and the tab at the same time. He's software users, but he's phenomenal. But he did a book. He's into like gent and metal, and then he's super into country and gypsy jazz. So he did this country guitar book. You can get it on Amazon or anywhere like that. It's really good. But if you just look up Levi, Levi Clay, Clay, he has a couple of guitar books. If you want an actual old school book, because I'm a little bit old school like that.
Nesdal mentions that Andy Allendort does Skype lessons. So if you want to do the virtual person-to-person.
There you go.
Another suggestion that I just thought of, which actually helped me a lot in me getting my bass playing more up to snuff, was actually Musician, which you can get for free and also pay for it for more extended
Somebody
lessons.
mentioned Fender Play as well. It's good for beginners.
Yeah, there really is a lot of learning material out there, whether it be YouTube or other individual sites. So, it just really depends on your degree of playing.
Welcome back.
I have to look at what mine's through. I know it's through like some sort of software thing. What is it called?
Hey, Frank Corcoran in the house. Great to see Frank. Old school. Great to see Frank. Before I forget. Benjamin Payne mentioned Tracy Gunn does Skype lessons too. He's been a great friend. Very cool.
Nice.
He seems like a super chill, just nice guy too. Which is important when you're doing lessons, because I've had teachers that were phenomenal players, and I'm just like, dude, you're a dick. Like they're condescending, and you don't want that kind of person. But he seems like a real mellow kind of, chill kind of person.
D-Mac. Good to see D-Mac in here. Canadian Content. Creative Guitar Studio has some good free YouTube shorts that you buy courses and subscriptions.
That's cool.
Nice.
If scheduling and money are no object, go with what Dave said. Andy Allendort, that guy's freaking insane. Phenomenal. He's phenomenal both at playing and at pedagogy. He really knows his stuff. He can teach you from a theoretical standpoint, but he can actually play, because I've run into teachers that can play, can't teach your way out of a paper bag, or they can teach phenomenally, but they just really don't have that vibe. They can't play like at that level, and he can do both.
Yeah.
If you can afford that, I would go that route. Someone like him.
Quickly to get in, Michael B, hello, and also on top of that, I just remembered another fellow Canadian, Bobby Crispy.
Bobby Crispy, there we are.
I like the name.
And actually, Leonard J might do some lesson course things as well, I believe. Speaking of fellow Canucks.
I love
got John in the chat. John says, I missed the start. I'll probably miss the end, and a good chance I'll get distracted in the middle. Besides that, Yep.
Hey, Floopy do. I'm a crappy learner too, dude. I have to play things 1,000 times.
Dude, I can look at tab, okay, struggle. Or, I used to be able to actually read music at one time. A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. Now, I just look, I got to watch someone's left hand, basically. I literally have to go, Tom, how do you do that? And you go, well, a lot of guitar players have a hard time translating, saying, hey, this is what it be. You just got to play. It's like asking a singer, a lot of times for second lyrics to a song, well, out of context, they're like,
So there you go, Ben. Read.
I agree, Ben. It's very similar, Ben, to like when someone goes, how do you do a 360 kickflip? And you're like, if that person had, skated for a long time, you could be like, well, here, let me do one and show you. But if they try to describe the actual mechanic, you're like, the hell are you talking about?
Yeah, like I would say, Tom, just play it. Let me just watch what you're doing. I'm like, oh, okay, do it again.
That way you can go, wait,
do it again. Do it again.
What's that thing you're doing right after that? Yeah.
Hey, T.
Oddly enough, we're talking about this, and I actually found the books, and it wasn't Mel Bay books. It's these books.
Those are the Canadian equivalent of the Mel Bay, the Dick Bennett.
By Dick Bennett.
Yep. Terry, Ardens music was plastered with those back in the day.
Oh, jeez. But that was mainly the reason why I bought them, was more so because the chords on the back
I'll show you what I got right here. So,
Mark's been perusing the Hal Leonard guitar method.
Here's what I'm using now. This is phenomenal. This guy's a phenomenal guitar player.
Nice.
But it's hybrid finger picking, and they show it in the staff and with tablature, because some of it's kind of, you kind of need to know.
Unfortunately for me, most of my books are either given away. There's a few that are still packed away. But I remember I had AC/DC songbook and a Randy Rhoads songbook, and then a couple months later I got an Eric Clapton songbook, and that's.
Wait, Ben.
It was weird because it was like they would have 7 songs, but they only had tab for 3 of them. Talk about cheaping out. Like, how do you do that? Here's 7 songs, but we're only doing tab for 3 of them, and the rest of them, it's melody, like what you showed, Terry. It's all vocal melody. That's what those, it's like there is no, like I'm playing AC/DC, and I'm like, what the hell? This is not AC/DC. And I realize I'm playing Bon Scott's vocal patterns. So you end up sounding like Les Paul plays AC/DC, and you're like, no.
Yeah, that's actually, that's pretty good. Like, when you talk about learning theory.
Oh.
Those books.
You're just giving me flashbacks of high school.
If you want to learn to read rhythms for guitar, this is phenomenal. This is the first book they make you do in Berkeley. Melodic rhythms, but trust me, it's not easy.
Oh my God, looks like a bunch of Arabian scribble.
No, I know that. Yep. That looks, mm-hmm. See, I got lucky. My first year of guitar, quote unquote classical guitar, the final exam was the Intro to Stairway to Heaven.
Oh, that's cool.
Hey, Robot Master Switch.
No problem. Hey, Robot Master Switch. Good to see you, my friend.
Look at these ones, special studies they make you do towards the end. Now look at the chord changes. C6, E flat 9, D minor 7, D flat 9 altered, C6, B9 sharp 5, and then you do a turnaround. You do a turnaround in D minor, and you play, the...
A lot of walking there, Tom. I see a lot of walking from one chord to another.
Yeah.
Yep.
Let me guess. Was it thumb and finger picking, perhaps?
With special studies containing rhythms from mixed groups, easy to moderate swings. They're great stuff, even if you're never going to play jazz. And this one is my favorite, though. This the Mick Goodrick book. Here, look at this. It gets deep into chords, man. Look at that.
Mm-hmm.
Jeez. But
So
no,
you're just doing a 2-5-1-6 in the key of C.
Yep. Hey, Simon and Steven.
But they
I feel like this is too much of like school. All right, no more sheet music.
They'll use like a C Lydian or.
I will agree with what you're saying though, Ben. I think what I discovered as as I more watch stuff on YouTube and like especially like through using Musician was that, tab is great, but again the inherent biggest issue is it doesn't show you the timings. Whereas something like Musician you actually see tab, but it actually moves you along and gives you the little thing on the top to give you your rhythm.
Yeah. Yeah, because at best you get a beat. Hey, salut BV. Comment ça va?
Hey, BV.
I know. He's like, am I in the right place? Like, you're talking theory. I know. And Dave's eyes officially glazed over.
Too much like school. I like school, man. I like learning.
All right. So, changing topics. Re-release by the Epiphony Company. I'm summoning Aljan Go. Come on, Aljan, show up in the chat, please, my friend. They have re-released the Lucille. That was available in the 90s for a period of time. Then it was kind of, I think it might have been briefly around in the 2000s, like the late 2000s, around 2010-ish, maybe. Can't remember. Randy Upchurch might know, but might not. Could have just been old stock. Not too sure. Anywho, they brought it back. I could not suss out the country of origin, but based off the price point and knowing what Epiphones go for,
Korea,
for the build quality of what it's built in China, basically.
Oh, China.
I can't see where they would not be building it in China for that price point.
Well,
since they do have a factory in China.
I think the initial runs were probably made by Samick in Korea, which was very known for making the
they built all their stuff back in the 90s.
Well,
that 96 through 98 period, it was all out of the Samick factory.
Yeah.
What's the hierarchy, for guitars built out of North America, marketed at the North American market? Like, what's the hierarchy from highest to low? Who's the highest? Like Japan or Mexico?
It doesn't matter. It's all about it. It's bang. It does like for the point. $1,000 guitar is $1,000 guitar. It seems.
Yeah.
You might be able to build a bit more guitar in China for $1,000 than you will in Korea, for instance. Okay. But it's not a 2-to-1 labor cost. You know what I mean?
Really close.
It's more like 20-25%. I would say.
If you had to get a guitar and they're like, well, it's not U.S. made, it's not made in Mexico, it's not made in Japan, where would you pick out of anywhere else in the world that you think?
I would go with, so if you're doing something like that, you're building something decent. So you're going to the builder, as much, because even if you walked in the door of, let's say, World Music in Korea, you say, I need your best builder to build blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And they're like, okay.
No.
So in that case, I would go with one of the builders in Japan.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's kind of hard if you're talking about availability
for an electric
price point.
For an electric, for an acoustic, Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think Canada's more like in the whole North America thing, like Rev, and companies like that have become.
Yeah. The labor market, it's about 20% cheaper to build in Canada, Tom. You're saving about 20% by building in Canada.
Right. So someone told me, they're like, where's that company Rev? I'm like, he's like, what state? I'm like, no, they're in Canada. I'm like,
they're in Winnipeg.
Yeah, they're in the peg.
He was like, what are you talking about? I'm like, look it up, dude.
Yeah.
I mean,
they do kind of put maple leaves on a lot of stuff. Hey, Paul Leonard Ewing. Eric Salinas. Yes. And BB had mentioned he sent some bass playing theory to my sister this morning, because when I drove her to work, she's like, so BB's been messaging me a whole bunch of stuff on bass work. I'm like,
Magic Man said he likes the Indonesian stuff as much as the Mexican stuff.
Yeah.
Well, if we're going by world rankings nowadays, Indonesia has now became one of the top builders for manufacturers of instruments, followed by Korea.
And then China.
I would not put Indonesia over Korea, Terry. No.
going by newer capacity.
Yeah,
No, I mean,
as opposed to build quality, we're saying build quality. I think it's
Build
all-
quality, yeah, no. A lot of the Indo stuff is still like low to mid range, whereas anything out of Korea is pretty much.
But even then, you're building
to
to what the builders want.
Yep.
I think, I'd say Indonesia. Would be Japan, Korea right behind Japan, Indonesia and China right behind Korea, because the only we know there's $1,000 guitars coming out of China, like the Eastmans.
Yeah.
They'll build them if you want them, and I'm sure it's the same in Indonesia. I'm sure it's the same. Where else are they building some? India is getting into some kind of manufacturing of musical instruments.
There's got to be like a Westerner that goes.
Oh yeah, we forgot Mexico. So Mexico is right in there with Japan. I think, especially at this point. But even then, do you put Mexico on the list? Because really, it's just Fender.
Baja, basically.
Yeah,
but no, it's only one company.
California,
is what I'm saying, Tom. Like if only Epiphone is built in China and nothing else ever came out of China, well then that's how you're ranking China. But
no, I fully agree, because it is only Fender product that comes out.
Yeah, and we can't. Well, they build Charvels in Mexico. Same thing. It's FMIC.
Right.
Yeah.
Same campus. So, what else do you have? But Japan. We know a variety of companies have built products out of Japan and continue to. Korea might still be like as diversified as China. Yeah, there may be more guitars, period, coming out of China, but there could be, let's say, 50 different names or brands coming out of each country.
Here's the weird thing that
sometimes there's a lot of those small builders. You go to NAMM, they're like, "Well, this is really nice. Yeah, it's made in Korea."
Hey, Jamal.
I always wonder. There's got to be really small builders in Korea, Indonesia, even in China, that build for the local people that are as good as Fender Custom Shop or any other big builder, but they're probably only making like 50 guitars a year, so they never leave China, and they probably only stay with wealthy people in China. You know what I mean?
Well, it's like
I want to see.
All right. So there's always levels of sales, obviously, and retail, blah blah blah. Okay, so you got a factory in China, Tom.
Right.
You want to attract my business as a builder, as a manufacturer. Right. You got to have a guy working for you that's a pretty damn good luthier to build prototypes to send back to me go, oh yeah, if you guys can build, bring them out like this, and only 3 out of 20 are bad, which is the margin of error. You're like, yeah, let's go for it. But because I know I can go to you and say, hey, can you build this? Oh, you're like, oh yeah, I can build it. Yeah, but can you? Show me. And or the fact that how many of these factories have been in business, like, the Japanese factories, a lot of them have been in business now for 50 years.
And let's not forget, Fender's factories in the 50s and 60s were all just employees.
Well, and they don't exist anymore.
They were line employees. So who says they can't? I mean, it's really ethnocentric to say they can't make it better because it's a foreign country.
How far back do we even date Fender and Gibson, for that matter, to the 80s, basically? Anything before that is gone. The tooling's gone.
Yep.
Yeah.
All the people are gone. That's all gone.
I mean, it was basically like, women sitting there whining in those pickups, and then, people sitting there working on the machines, cutting it. But, I mean, these were not like custom shop, luthiers. These were, factory workers building these 50s and 60s Fenders.
Which is mass production, means you just build within a tolerance.
Magical. They're so magical. They were built in a factory. I'm sorry, they were built on a production assembly line.
Well, that's the thing. Like every single component, every company of every factory, you have industry standards, which is a fail rate of X within X. Like for years, you could buy a laptop computer, and if you had dead pixels, but it was 6 or less, too bad. Too bad.
Yeah. I remember that.
I don't care. It doesn't matter. That doesn't fall under warranty replacement. 7 pixel, dead pixels. Yeah. And that's the thing. So, like say, built winding a pickup. All right, we wanted to put out 7K output. If it's 6.8 to 7.2, they don't care.
Yeah.
That's within spec. you know, and that's why, you know, like say over on Thursday nights a lot, people talk, because we talk a little more vintage gear over there, as you guys know, and people say like 50s neck on a Gibson. Well, they're all hand carved. It all depends on how aggressive Buddy got in the first place.
Yeah, right.
Or drunk.
Yeah. Or it could be something simple
Or
as
angry.
you carve out the neck and there's the end of a blemish, you know, like a knot, but it's the very, very end of it. So you know, if I just take out a little bit of surface, it's gone. Guess what? That neck's going to be a hair thinner.
Yeah.
So.
Where the boss said you got to do 3 more hours of overtime.
Hey, Matthew.
Well, as we all know, Leo was all about saving a buck. He was all about cost cutting, saving a buck. I mean, taking the lap steel pickups, putting them in the first, you know, broadcasters, you know.
So as we went off on that whole tangent, going back to the Lucille.
There you go.
10 minutes later.
And
So
back.
likely built in China, but it doesn't say on the website. Looks pretty sweet. It's got the baritone knob. I dig that. So it's not a 335. It would be a 345 bass.
Wait, if it's going to be a Ben Coombs, you got to say she's got the.
Oh, she's got all the tones, Tom. She's got all the tones with the baritone knob. She's got all the tones. Block inlay, I believe. Lucille written into the headstock. Tasteful.
New headstock shape.
New headstock shape with the Kalamazoo headstock.
Yes.
But right, my point though, Dave, was that they were not, you know, coming in with trained people. You know, the people winding the pickups. They say it's you know, Josefina Campos or whoever winding the pickups. Well, that's great, but when she wound these magical pickups in the, you know, 50s or 60s, she was some 18, 20-year-old kid, had no idea what she was doing. What I'm saying is it's not rocket science.
Yeah, like I would imagine, like if you're going in, Tom, to like work with the bodies or necks at all, even basic sanding, you have to have some woodworking knowledge to get hired there, we'll say.
I'm just saying Fender's way overpriced these days. I mean, it's.
Oh yeah, but if you're like cutting out pick guards, well then they're just teaching you that trade. What's up, brother Aaron?
Hey, Aaron.
You know, I just think there's
Is there a link for that guitar? I just did a search for. I went to upphone.com. It's right there It's right there.
Thanks, Aaron. You know, I would rather. You know, I'm not going to say names, but I would rather get someone who doesn't have a big name but can make an amazing guitar either from scratch or even put one together, you know, and set it up for a while. I would much rather have that over some, you know, Fender custom shop because it's made by whatever master luthier. I'm
not gonna lie. Like if I had a guitar built by Chip Ellis, that'd be cool. But I can't afford a guitar built by Chip Ellis. You know, and that's the thing. Like if we're gonna have the fact that I know his name. You know, like that's, you know, Sir Lawrence of the Pedals.
Yes, Lawrence, I do.
I mean, I'll tell you right now, like I have an LS Strat, and you know, I think it sounds.
It's interesting. Match Command brings this up, and this has always been a little thorn right my side. Is he says like Fender makes too many guitars to possibly keep up with QC, and you figure, you know, Fender, they've got 4 brands on the go, 4 or 5, whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
You always hear people bitching and moaning about Gibson's fit and finish and QC, and you know what, for warranted reasons at times, but you never hear about Fender, and they're just chalking them out by the hundreds. And nobody says the thing, oh, these are cool and they're great bang for the buck, and you know.
And that's kind of like what I said was like the big problem with the last era was that mindset of like, oh, instead of banging out like 100 guitars a month, let's do it 1,000 guitars a month because we can make more profit. And I think that's again where Gibson really went down the bad rabbit hole. And I think Gibson's
partially in their
margin of
insistence on
errors-
working with nitro, which is just a finicky paint. So you're going to have... Actually, you know what? No. Get rid of your oversprays. Like, just take a razor on the binding to clean that overspray off.
Yeah.
That's just the part. All you need, Terry, you can crank out just many guitars. Literally, what, 2 more people doing QC?
Yeah.
That'd be the difference, so you get to spend, instead of 8 minutes on a guitar, you get to spend 10. An extra couple of minutes per guitar. If the guitar doesn't need it, you build up, and all of a sudden, all right, we're doing well. You're
I
doing
would
it.
also,
Almost as many guitars.
To further add to that, I think, as well as most Fender instruments do not have the amount of wood requirement as, say, like a Gibson would. So that would also factor into things a little bit.
With Fender and with Gibson, the problem is when you get a company that gets bought from original ownership, there's so many people with their hands in the cookie.
Once that happens, it's
not about making good guitars anymore for most people.
So, Charles,
it's about making money, and it's about making artists happy to make more money. I'm sorry, but they don't give a shit about your guitar.
Charles comments, I got past my gas about Lucille, but if I buy one and get divorced, it's on you.
Another nice incentive, too, about buying the new Lucille is if you're a fan of ebony fingerboards, you actually get an ebony fingerboard.
Yep. John loves his American Pro 2 Telly. Yep, they are sweet. What else did I see in here? Oh, yeah, Eric. Question. Yes, 21 versus 22 fret Strat. Opinions? I never go past the 15th fret, so it's irrelevant.
Yeah.
I like 22.
There you go. Tom has an opinion. He uses all the frets, apparently, so he needs that 22nd fret.
The most highest I go Strat-wise is like maybe around 19.
Maybe the 17th.
So
maybe I'll do the 17th.
Yeah, like
really lucky, but actually the 15th.
Yeah, like 17 to 19 is probably about the most I go on one of those frets.
I don't sit and play up in that area a lot, but I like that I can go up and bend the D and hit a high E. It's a little bit harder.
Says 21. Steven says 22. Lawrence is being a dick.
I don't like 24 frets because where it puts the first fret.
Dave says 21. Simon also 24 fret on a Strat. Okay.
Oh, never.
22, 22, 22. So what I'm seeing is the modern. Isn't basically we'll call 22 the modern?
Yeah.
Yeah, 22 modern, yeah.
Aaron's doing a run to the 19th. And if he overshoots it, right? Whoops.
I just like to be able to bend that up and, get the
the reality is when you get further down the fretboard, you have less of the fret to actually get your finger into. So, like, by the time you get around to the 20th fret, it's hard to get your fingertip in there to actually form the note.
One of my favorite names on YouTube, Muddy Waters.
Nice.
Great name. Okay, so Lawrence says he likes the access of the 22nd when you have 24.
I can see that.
I understand.
No, that's what I meant, John. John DeShane, that's what I meant. I don't like to have to bend. I like just to be able to just do, a one-step bend.
Oh, great! Now we gotta start over because the other left finally showed up.
Now we gotta come from the right.
Yeah, I get that, Lawrence. I just don't like that it puts the neck further out usually, or it pushes the neck pickup in further.
Speaking of which,
I don't like.
Since Lawrence is in the chat, he can let us know. Do we have an approximation of how many nice drive A's are left? Because I keep shilling them until you tell me to stop shilling them. So pick yours up. I was going to say, one of the moderators have the link, but they're both here. So I guess I might as well just.
Bad Jamal. Bad Jamal. You shouldn't be working and listening again.
No, I encourage the delinquency at work because that's how I roll.
I'm surprised yet that he hasn't actually hit like another vehicle or hit another luggage carrier or something while listening to the shows.
Lay out. There we go. You can check out the Nice Drive A. There's the link. There's a demo link in that link if you want. You can sign up for one, and maybe Lawrence will tell us if and how many there are left, or that link might even, it still works loaded for me. So This I'm just looking at cash. I don't.
Nice. Magic Man said, I always feel tardy. I don't feel tardy.
So, to further go on about the new Epiphone Lucille's, the little bit of videos that I've seen on YouTube, people demoing them and talking about them, so mostly the retailers have given it a pretty positive impression.
Gotcha. Okay, apparently we have a few left. Imagine, I want one. My bank account says no.
Getting back to like what we're talking about with quality, my local music shop actually finally got stock in. It was a long time before they'd gotten any stock. Like the guy down there was saying, like it was 6 months, especially on Fender products. It was still 6 months, but he had a bunch of Epiphone stuff come in. So I further got to view, not actually touch, but view more of the Epiphone worn LPs that are in the $400 to $500 range.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things I noticed is the gloss versions of the classics are really nice looking. Like, they look like a guitar that you would normally buy.
Dude.
The worn versions, I have to admit, I was actually shocked because one of the ones that the guy who runs the store for the original owner, he had, what was it, a gold top?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking over the body, I'm like, wait a second, that looks weird. So it's supposed to be worn, but is there supposed to be like a debit of like, it looks like about an inch, like somebody actually dropped a screw or hit it with a long screw or something in the top? So it was like, okay, I understand by the worn look, but not the actual look like it actually got gouged out or something by a tooling
What's up, Craig T.
machine.
Tomlinson? I think it's supposed to be cosmetic. That sounds like that would be shipping damage.
Yeah, it was hard to say, but it was just like, I really wasn't impressed by the worn finishes, and I was like, I thought they would be a little bit more. They look more like it looks more like it's just simply matte, a matte finish that's had nothing done to it other than applied.
There is some wear spots, but it's more like a relic ready, I would say.
Yeah,
in many ways, which is fine with me. I dig the worn just because it does, it's kind of that matty finish, which I like. So Guitar Man 45 is reporting in. He got an Epi ES335 a few months back. It's okay, but it's not the same as his actual 335.
Whoa.
Yeah. Hey, Papa Blue.
Hey, Papa.
Hey, Chris Beastman.
Don't Pablo.
Yeah, factory mishap. Like someone chucks a screw in the package when they ship it, so it rattles or halfway around the world with a screw just rubbing right up against it or something. Yeah, 70 watching, nice, excellent. Speaking of which, since we got 70 watching, let's read off the patrons from the Patreon, because you get a shout out if you're a patron on the Patreon. Speaking of patrons on Patreon, there's one of them rolling in right now. It's great to see you actually made it to a live show. Hola, Jose Benito Martinez Jr.
Hey, nice.
I almost hit the end broadcast button by mistake. Don't want to do that. All right.
And hey, Craig.
You can click the link down below, or you can type that in, which is on the screen. Then you get your shout out. Tonight we're going to start at the bottom and work our way back up to the top, as John Lennon once said. Mahogany, Reindeer Crooks, Other Left, Absolute Mayhem, Brad Guitar Miller, Charles Green, Cousin Todd Flowers, Craig T. Tomlinson, Grumpy Mike Guitar, Blackjack Guitar, I Shouldn't Have Sighed, Ben Tom, Fruitcake Tony, Jose Benito Martinez Jr., JP Page 2, John ZD 351, Charles 75, and Unfucking Believable. Knucklehead Zero, Keith H, Joe C, Mickey Settlemeyer, Paul McNary, Symmetry, and of course Guitar Man 45, but he's really number one in my heart, the Detroit rocker himself. Thank you, one. Thank you all. And thank you, Charles, for the super chat. I do appreciate it. And as a reminder, all super chats tonight through the end of the month, which would include this coming Sunday show, which we should talk about. All super chats are going towards Christmas gifts for the girls. Yep. I don't have Sam to come on tonight to generate a bunch of super chats. So.
That was awesome last night.
Hey, Julia made it as well. Hey, Julia. And Citizen Kane. Wow, everybody's showing up tonight.
Welcome.
Good question. I guess. Well, it's a question. We'll see. Papa Blue. Question. I did a soap paint job on my Strat body, gold under black. Looks amazing. I'm not familiar with a soap paint job.
Yeah, I can't say the same. I gotta say the same thing myself.
I think I know why. He says, not a real question. What?
Oh, God.
See here.
Gold under black. The only way to me I think that would work is if you're doing actual solid gold color and a transparent black over top, then
right.
Yeah, that would look
Hey,
awesome.
There he is. Lurking while working. Tank. Good to see you, my friend.
Don't hit your hand or drive into anything like Jamal Tinker.
Which, 1 week from last night, is that how you say that? Or I could just say this coming Sunday. We're doing a Halloween special, apparently, because it's Halloween. So we'll do a Halloween hang, I guess. Sure. It's a group hang, open hang. You know, any of the regulars you want to jump in, you have to have a costume. Just saying.
And obviously a webcam and a mic.
Well, that helps too, yes. Oh, Julia, you're way too kind. The nicest guy in Canada. Thank you. See, Jamie just jumped. Hey, Jamie. Paint doesn't stick where the... So, right, okay, yeah. The void spot. That's like when you do bubbles and you paint over bubbles.
Oh, okay.
But similar but different.
Brad Asgrove out in Alberta. He did a similar thing.
Cool, thanks, Jamie.
A while back.
Appreciate it. And we should say, again, if you're new, please subscribe. And, of course, hit that like.
Yes, like, share, subscribe.
Like, share, subscribe. Yeah, so Halloween show. This should be fun. I don't know if my sister works on Monday. I hope she doesn't, because then we could go a little later. But if not, we'll do a couple hours anyways. And yeah, so have your costumes ready. Jump on in. Of course, you guys are both invited as well. It's not one of those. Yeah, you might. You could work 2 nights in a row if you wanted to. And yeah, that'll be fun. What else do we have going on? I gotta shoot that demo. Dang it. I gotta work on some guitars. Leo asks, you near St. Catharines at all? Neil Peart's hometown? Heard about the school principal there in hot water because she's an Iron Maiden fan?
Oh, yeah, that's right. I heard about that. That's crazy.
Let's see. St. Catharines would be 2.5 hours for me.
Yeah, it sounds about right.
Well, it depends on the traffic. So, can you skirt around Toronto easy or not? John Duchesne, thank you very much, my friend. Ditto plus Looper is a big step up from the first one. I'm liking it. Excellent. Thank you for the gear update. Tom, thanks you as well. Many thanks. Many thanks, good sir. Many good things. I did find out Tom Cochran lives in town from Mark Taft. Well, at least part of
that's funny.
Yeah. Well, I looked at that Winnebago for years, dude. Like, I was like, that's a sweet setup because you got your motorhome right next to like a townhouse. It's a townhouse with a driveway next to it, like condo, townhouse, so, outside access apartment. I don't know what you call them where you live. Row house. I don't know. But it had a driveway there, and I went, that's a sweet setup. Because if you're traveling a lot, you don't want or need a yard.
Yep, Papa Blue. Yeah, that's exactly what Brad showed. Was just dish soap. And a few other people have actually shown it online. So yeah, it looks pretty cool. That or the bubbles as well too is another technique.
He used to be into figured tops, but got sick of him. Looks too much like the walls of a yacht. Nice.
That's true. There, and it's like somebody had said, somebody recently said to me when we were out having coffee, he said basically along the lines of like, for the longest time, he was more about the aesthetics of the guitar and how the guitar looked. Yep. And then he realized more and more that it's like the guitar has nothing to do with the actual physical look of it. It's how it sounds and plays.
Sure.
So it's like, it flips.
Oops. Yacht Rock guitar, yes. But I want to get back to Drunk 35. I want to remind, if you haven't already, check out Charles 75N's channel. He did a fabric top LP Junior.
I gotta check that out.
Oh, dude. Oh, yeah. I was like, wow, that went remarkably well. I might have to try that.
So let me ask them.
Look out. The one, the only, the legend, who will be live this Wednesday, I'm sure, talking metal. Happy Monday. What's everybody's favorite scary movie? What are you guys going to be for Halloween? It's a surprise, Boner Jams. You got to tune in Sunday night. It's a group hang. You're more than welcome as long as you have a costume, which I know you do. Sexy nurse, right? I know you do.
And as for favorite scary movie, well, I think all of them are pretty much not scary. So I'm going to go with Scary Movie. What's up?
Any movie that involves school. No, scary movie. Oh, I don't know. Can't remember the last time I watched a scary movie.
It's funny. Stephen Douglas said his favorite horror movie is the first Halloween. I went back and watched the first Halloween like last year, and I guess it was still enjoyable, but it was almost goofy. It's not scary in the least.
Oh, you did, Charles. I say that a couple times. I'm like, you're doing this the right way.
Funny. Oh yeah, did it the right way. It is funny though.
Thanks, Blackjack Guitar.
Thanks very much, buddy.
Although I agree with Terry, I don't really find any horror movies really scary. The scariest ones maybe are like the psychological ones.
So I see some votes as dressing as the Mackenzie brothers, which I remember.
Oh, I like The Shining.
We did that back in public school.
Like, that is scary. There you go. Muddy Water got it. The Notebook. That is.
Yeah.
Good. Boner Jams. That might be my pick. That's good.
Yeah.
I like 9.5 Weeks too.
Oh, well, yeah, that.
Not 9.5 Weeks. Why did I say 9.5 Weeks? Rosemary's Baby. Why did I say 9.5 Weeks?
I will say, BC Rich, I was hanging out with Cousin Doug that night, I think.
That's a good one, BC Rich.
There you go.
Yeah. All right, I got thrown off here again. Hang on. Yeah, so buddy of mine, we dressed as Mackenzie brothers. I think it was around 1985. So not long after Strange Breed came out, and I should mention we were like 10, 11 years old. I didn't get in trouble. He did because he insists on carrying around an empty stubby. It's like you can't bring a beer bottle to school at age 10. Even in the 80s, they frowned upon that.
Yeah.
Plus he was going in class. Yeah.
Quick question to Charles 75N, because I haven't watched the video yet, but Did you get the influence to do the fabric top from Texas Toast Guitars?
Well, everybody is coming in tonight. Like names from the past, Bumblebess.
Wow, Bumblebess.
Hey, Bumblebess, what's up? Long time. Blackjack's back. Blackjack.
I'm just like
Bumblebess.
We've
man.
had like 6 people jump in tonight that jump in intermittently.
Leo.
I'm
That's
not
a
saying
good
strangers
one.
by any means, but
Like,
it's 2018 all over again. It's crazy.
I know. Bumblebess, good to see you. What's up, Citizen Kane?
Yeah, I guess if we're Toronto Maple Leaf fans, the most scariest thing that we could dress up as would be probably Harold Ballard.
Very scary. Or Peter Pocklington. Peter Pocklington. That's scary.
Yeah, there's a few for sure.
Yep. So, what else we got going on? Let me think.
When you knew you should have run.
Cover that. Okay, good. We're doing well. We'll do some overtime tonight, even because we got all kinds of folks jumping in tonight. So,
66 still watching. Awesome.
Nice.
We're after the 90 minutes, but we don't know how much penalty time we have. We're just going to keep going.
That's right. Nice. Forgot how much I like new strings on a guitar.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Hey Charlie S. Cool. Yeah, when I restrung the telly it was interesting. That Lost Dutchman on its own, where it's not driving using it on the bridge pickup, it's a little shrill the way I have it set up. But my God, the middle pickup sounding on a Les Paul or a telly.
Yeah.
I'm getting all kinds of. It's weird. You get all kind of harmonic-y things that weren't there before, and a bubbliness. That
you get the
Wayne Almondy thing going on.
Yeah.
Oi. Yeah.
Oh God, Mark.
Wow.
That would be hilarious, but probably would be a copyright strike. Watching the Trailer Park Boys Halloween special.
This is true. Yes, that's true, Charles. And he does mention that in the video, Tom. Had to watch, or Terry, had to watch some of the videos. But I'd asked Ben in the chat once if I should paint it or fabric top it. Ben said there's not enough fabric tops in the world.
There you go.
Very true, because even Texas Toast doesn't actually make a whole lot of them either.
Because they hate doing them.
Yeah.
Because they've done a lot of them.
I never clean fretboards. If it's something that needs oiled, I'll do it. But if it's maple, I don't do anything.
Yeah. It depends on the guitar.
I hate the look of like a.
I used to clean mine a lot more when I gigged.
I just hate the look of a pristine fretboard.
Well, see, that's the thing. I used to clean my guitars quite often before gigs too, or Mark.
Talk about Mark.
Dude. Yeah. See, like, I will say, that's a Mark Tapp will handle your guitar. You can hand him a Samick, and it's a 59 Les Paul to him. He's going to treat it the exact same, okay? That's nothing against Samick's. That's nothing against 59 Les Pauls.
Right.
But that's why Mark... And the look... Like, because he'd be like, okay, set up a guitar rack. Okay. He starts taking guitars. If he pulls out a guitar and it's all mungy and fingerprinty, he'll just look at me like, do you not care about your equipment? And then he'll clean it before putting it on the rack. And then at the end of the night, he always would clean all the gear. He's like, or especially, I know if I was extra sweaty, I would make a point of saying, hey, dude, wipe down the pickups especially because I want them to work again. But
yeah.
But
I never clean anything. I never wipe anything down. I'm the worst. Maybe that's why my paint falls off on some guitars. I literally I've almost never cleaned the bodies, like even if they're covered in sweat. I just let it dry and go on.
So I think Chris said he just spent $250 on strings.
Yeah.
But he got all kinds of black rounds. He got all the strings. He got
them all.
Yeah, he got bass strings, and bass strings are not
Those
cheap
are really
at all.
No, they are not.
That's a different story. Okay, I thought he meant $250 of just guitar strings.
A bass
Yeah.
string costs more than a pack of guitar strings.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
like
you
I
could-
think the
you could-
cheapest
you could
price
easily
I've
get up
seen
to $80
Canadian.
for a pair of really good strings for a bass. You know, I mean, you're looking at what, at least 30 to 50 minimum.
Yeah, I think they're at least $40 Canadian now. At least.
For a set of Ernie Ball, I think it's the lights, which I think are a 45 through 90 set or something like that, is
Yeah.
I think $20.99 Canadian.
You know why I don't replace strings on basses, Terry?
Because it's too much money.
No. Well, that. That. But no, because it's like you go in there like, well, what's your scale length? Well, like, what does it matter?
Yeah.
Well, you got to get the right string. Oh, what kind of bridge do you have? Again, what does it matter?
Yeah.
You know, when I buy guitar strings, you're like, well, what gauge? That's it.
Oh, he said 20, $25. Okay.
Yeah.
Higher than, or
So
lower
it's
than-
like, but you know what I mean? It's like, because of, they put the thread on them, and they make them, I don't know, they make them fancy with their rope on the end, make shoelace looking things. I don't get it. And they do it just to impress BC Rich, but whatever. And then you buy strings and they're too long, and you can't just clip them off if they're too long, because they get thinner before they. Why?
Yeah, I never did understand that on a bass string, why they actually have the windings at the top and the bottom of the string, because like you said, if they're too long of a string to begin with, and depending on the scale of your bass, you end up clipping off most of the fabric part of the top of the string.
And they taper down. Yeah, and a lot of them, they're like, don't clip them. You know, there's enough for 3 winds, and that's it. Why? Yeah, I only want a wind and a half. That's all I need. You know, like, I don't want all this. So that's why I've never replaced the strings on any of my basses, I think.
Hots for the question that we usually get asked about if we have the hots for something. I actually can answer mine because I've seen it on the local Kijiji and I inquired about it. I'm not sure if it's still here or not, but it's still here. It was a Ibanez Artcore AS63 in the seafoam green color.
I know it well. It is their version of a 335.
Yes.
With a volute.
Pretty much like...
I can tell, Tom.
Yeah, pretty much like an Epi Studio. Epi Dot Studio, sorry. And yeah, I think you're at NAMM when they launched. Way back. But anyways, there's one here locally for like, the guy's selling it for like $375. I asked if he was interested in the trade. He goes, no.
I saw the demo one in one of the seafoam green ones.
Yep.
Speaking the truth, Mark. Okay, back to the show, Tom. Persevere. Half an hour, buddy. You can do it. It's a great day in the neighborhood. It's a great day for a neighbor.
Cause him to it.
Ignacy doesn't approve. Yeah. Ignacy, he ripped off my look.
Oh, God. At this point in time, does he have any, whatchamacallit, left, credibility left after everything that's now gone on at Gibson?
I guess. I don't know. No more or less, in my opinion.
Okay, that's a good enough excuse to be away, Tom.
What? I'm reading Lawrence's comment to BC Rich.
I was just reading your comment.
Yeah, speaking of which, yeah, because I saw it earlier. Someone had mentioned that they didn't like the price of the Lucille. Thought it was a little pricey. It's got an ebony fretboard and expect guitar gear. So everything. Expect industry prices to. You hear a lot in the news about inflation. Well, yeah.
Well,
you're going to see like a good 10% increase across the board, Terry. Minimum. Like 10% a year for a while, I think, in gear.
Well, and everything as well too is in short supply. So I mean, everything in turn is going up. Food prices are going up. You know, anything that there might be some type of material deficiency involved in it being produced is being affected. But the Lucille, you're also paying you have the extra money involved because of the Veritone switch too. That's not exactly a cheap part. You know, there's
wiring.
Yeah, there's a lot of other subtle things. I'm just gonna actually go to Epiphone while we're
still talking. That.
And
you do that.
Quickly check it out.
Kind of gear I'm hot and horny for right now. Nude strings. I have one of few guitars and I'm enjoying it.
I thought you said nude strings.
That too. Well, that's uncoated. Yes. Yes.
I prefer the nude strings and the nude women. Thank you very much.
Keep it clean, Tom. I'm not disagreeing with you. Yeah, all those parts.
No, only if they want to be on.
Not to mention, you know, I hear, you know, supply chain issues. I also, you know what I've heard recently, Tom?
What's up?
Record numbers of shipping containers falling off ships during shipping.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like those guitars that fell into the ocean?
Yeah. They're losing containers more and more these days.
Really?
So, which is, I'm sure, doing wonderful things to the environment on some
capacities. Do you think it's they can't get enough people or keep people and they have unskilled labor? Or do you think it's people just don't care?
Time versus money. The longer that ship sits in port, it's costing so much.
Come on, hurry up, rush. Yeah, mistakes are going to happen.
They're lashed good enough.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
Another thing.
The crew will continue lashing it once we're at sea. What? We are now?
Another thing that would contribute to the higher price, of course, would be the TP6 stop tail bar with fine tuners.
Oh, yeah, it's got that. I forgot about that. It's got that.
As for the pickups, it doesn't clarify. It just says Alnico Classic Pro, so it doesn't say whether it's a Gibson pickup or an Epiphone pickup. So,
it's an Epiphone made pickup. They don't do any Gibson pickups in Epiphones anymore. Epiphone pickups are made at the Epiphone factory. Gibson pickups are made by Gibson. They're the same pickup. They're just made at two different foundries. They're made to the same spec.
The 59. There are Gibson pickups in some of the Epiphone product.
Are that like the highest end level ones?
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Thoughts on coated strings? I like those greasy XTs, but I don't think you can buy them anymore because they were an environmental disaster. I didn't say that out loud.
I've tried XLs. They didn't really, they didn't do anything for me exciting.
You mean XTs?
No, the NYXLs.
Yeah, well, they're not coated though.
Oh, I thought those were.
No, they're just steel.
Oh, okay. I haven't tried coated. I didn't like those NYXLs. I mean, I didn't hate them, but I don't know.
Nice of you. Exactly. With your presence, Brad.
Hey, Brad. Yeah, there was on that one BC Rich Mockingbird I'd gotten in a trade there a while back. It had elixirs on it, and yeah, it was great for if you wanted to slide notes up and down the fingerboard, but
for
Ben's.
You can't do you can do pick slides, but it just looks like a fucking snowblower going off because you just debris just flying off the street.
Yeah.
Strum it for any length of time, and wherever your strum area is, those strings are blank.
It's funny because you mentioned about how Richie being a hard strummer and whatnot. You'd think coated strings wouldn't be good because they'd be so hard on the strings.
Oh, probably.
Hitting You'd think it would actually bash
I
the
have
coating
nothing
off
against
quickly.
it, but it's
I
like
would. He doesn't use them though.
it's like
Yeah.
digital modelers. They're just not
Yeah.
for me. It's just not for me.
Rich told me a long time ago, Terry, because he's so hard on strings, that's why he just buys Ernie Ball Slinkies. Because like the standard Ernie balls, because
That's what I
there's
buy.
no point in spending $20 on a pack of strings.
Yep.
Yep.
Especially if you break strings. If you are someone that breaks strings with any kind of regularity,
I just wear
Which-
them out quick.
all right, I would say at least half or more string breakage is due to some issue on the guitar. A
I
burr
agree.
somewhere.
100%.
Right?
Yep.
A little burr.
There's a small fraction where it's just bad strings, or you happen to put GHS boomers on a guitar, then you're going to break a string. It happens. It's a fact. There's videos on it. If you break string, but there are guys like Richie that just have a heavy hand and he breaks strings. So he just goes with cheap Ernie balls because one, he likes them, and two, they're cheap. Which basically was a D'Addario and Ernie ball. They're both basically 9 out of 10 stores. They're within 25 cents of each other in price or whatever.
Yeah.
They're the two big daddies out there as far as the cheapest. So,
I usually just buy 10-pack of Ernie balls when they're on sale, and you can get them for like $25 to $30 for a 10-pack. So even at $30, and they usually give you free shipping, that's $3 a pack. To me,
Yeah.
I'd rather have that. I can buy 2 sets for a $6 pack of something else. There you go.
there it is. And if the rain lets up and my hands feel better tomorrow, I'll shoot a demo on this to release. Just saying.
Nice.
So you're not forced to see that RJ guy's video, whoever he is. I don't know. Love you, RJ.
Tomorrow's my son's birthday.
Nice. Happy birthday.
Randy
Great. Coated strings remind me of active pickups. Magic Man.
Randy Upchurch brings up another great point as well too, that they can fuzz out on the bottom because of being pressed against the frets and wearing them as
That's
well
true.
too.
I was just thinking that you go up to a guy, he's playing at a gig, and he's got like active pickups, coated strings. You just want to walk. You don't care about tone, do you? Just walk away. But I like my tone, regardless of his tone's good or not. 3 minutes, Dogpa, on coated string. Yeah, I believe it. Especially if you got any kind of a burr on your pick, too. Like if you used a previously slid pick, that's just going to shred it right off.
If you're not,
You definitely wouldn't be able to use a metal pick
I don't know
either.
what you're doing.
Imagine that.
You got to wait for the newsletter to come out on Thursday, Guitar Man 45. Hey, Scott.
What's up, Scott?
Yeah, that, like I said, that'd be another thing you wouldn't be able to do if you're an avid fan of like a metal pick, and you're like, oh, I'm excited for coated strings.
Yeah,
That's just disaster waiting to happen.
Did we mention this thing has all the milliseconds?
Same color. Look. Look.
It's got all the milliseconds. Well, the color's not right on this. Let's see if we can get the color a little better. I'm going to wash myself out in the process. Process? Both.
Creamsicle orange. Well, it was creamsicle orange. Now it's pumpkin orange.
It's a little...
Matte pumpkin.
Oh, there we are.
It's tangerine.
Hey, there we are.
Only the back door brand.
I really shouldn't look directly into the light, but I did.
John ZD351. Great point.
Sure. Eric. Seymour Duncan blackouts are supposed to sound more like passives. Can anyone attest? I cannot attest.
Steve from Boston has a set in a guitar, and when he played them, it's
like my impression of an EMG 81 is like the tone's not bad, but it's like you have a really heavy compressor on all the time and you can't take the compressor off. If you like a really compressed tone, then you probably like anything like that.
Plus,
but
I
can't
love
do
Steve,
it.
but I'm not going by tone when all of his tone's virtual. I don't know what the pickups sound like. He uses a virtual signal.
Yeah.
Everything's virtual, so I don't know.
If I understand correctly, Steve's
How do they interact
critique
with it?
on them was that they were too active
Too active, right?
in the way of, I believe he said he thought they were too gainy
I just
Compared
had a
compared
guitar.
to a set of EMGs.
I had a guitar that had a set of 81 in the bridge, and I don't know if it was an 81 or 85 in the neck, but I just didn't like them. I took them out. I'm probably just gonna, I don't know, throw them in a drawer or sell them on Reverb or something.
It's in the hands. It is in the hands, Dogpa. That's true. But I'll take all the help I can get.
I don't like having to charge my pickup, because what if that shit dies in there, John? Like, I don't like that whole.
Fortunately, with my EMG, if the battery dies, Tom, it still works, and the controls just don't work.
Yeah.
Like the pickup selector works, but the volume and tone don't.
Yeah, that was the only thing.
I think it depends, and that's the thing. I can't really judge, from famous players and stuff. It's like if everybody plays through a triple rectifier, I'm going to think those pickups sound like a triple rectifier.
Right. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
You really have to play it yourself,
Yeah. I like low output single coils in my Strats. It gives a very glossy tone, but I don't know. I kind of dig the EMGs in that Tele because it made it a bit more of a rock machine, because they do have a little more output, but it's a smooth output.
I like a 5.6, 5.7K, in the Strats, but I do like in a Tele, I like an 8 or a 9K, like one of those, like almost like
Well,
the
maybe
last.
that's what they are, Lawrence. I don't know. They're whatever they are. I don't know.
No. I'm not worried about how long it lasts, John. I'm worried
It's
about
not for tech.
if the technology goes away, which it will eventually, and you still have that guitar,
Superstar?
you know what I mean? And it becomes a pain to charge it. I just don't like anything that has technology that's not going to be here in 20 years, probably.
Right.
Now I've heard
yeah.
EMGs in a bass sound good.
Yeah,
Yes.
and those fluences, yeah. Like, was it like Greg Cox? It's got the USB connector right there at the output jack, in the ring it's built into type thing.
Yeah.
Switch nowadays, so many people have battery packs that, like for a cell phone or whatever, like if you just got one of those battery packs, like worst case, you throw it on the battery pack for half an hour and it's going to cover you for a night. Because it's something crazy, like 300 hours of playing now on these things, because it's not a 9-volt or 2 9-volts anymore. It's now a lithium-ion battery on board.
Yeah, my concern is not the technology not working. My concern is the technology becoming archaic and you not being able to use it anymore.
Yeah.
It's
like I'm interested in those power supplies that are battery pack power supplies now.
Yeah, it's not a question. It will happen. It's just a question of how fast.
That kind of makes me, Tom mentioning that makes me think back to the episode of Flipside Music where Ike and Dylan were talking about the Stratocaster that came out a few years back with the interchangeable cards that you could get the interchangeable
buy that kind of thing.
pickup configurations.
Yep.
And it was like they were saying it was an awesome concept, but it never lasted long.
And I'm not saying this if anyone loves it and if they use this technology, but it's ultimately why a company like Synergy that makes the modules will fail, because that's not meant to last long term. Those wafer boards are going to get messed up, and they're not going to work for 20 years. It's just,
Tom and Terry.
Synergy should have sold like $800 preamps, like a Plexi preamp, JCM 800 preamp for like $800 to $1,000, and those would have sold like hotcakes. You could have made them on a production line, made them really cheap, but they wanted to do all this fancy module shit. It's not going to work in 20 years. I'm sorry.
I'm just going to say, if we lived in Arizona, how broke would we be? Because Lawrence would be building us stuff like this, like Oh, you just have a buffer
Yeah.
pedal to power your pickups through a stereo cable. Like,
I
we
like
would be the worst rig rundowns ever because they're like, oh yeah, how does that work? You're like, I don't know, Lawrence, build it. I don't know how it works.
Or
Yeah,
even
I got
better.
this guitar. It's
This
got
is
these
being.
active
This is
pickups.
being. This
And
is
Terry's like, well, where do you put the battery in? Oh no, it doesn't use a battery. It works off stereo cable with a pedal on my pedal
yeah.
board. What? Who makes that? I don't know. Lawrence made it. I don't know. It's Magic, Gremlins, or something. I don't know. Yep, we'd be broke.
there's people that are having that problem now with like gear from the 80s, like these old Rain line mixers and stuff, and they used a proprietary plug for the power supply, so you got to wire up your own power supply, and it's just becomes a
Tell me
real
about the
pain in
foot
the
switch for my OG PV Classic has a 9-pin foot switch because it's a 4-button foot switch from the 70s, Tom.
Yeah.
That technology, they couldn't just have a. You know what? Nowadays they're like, oh, just use a 1/4-inch jack, cable, and it powers everything. A 4-button.
That's the 4-button foot switch no one has. So I was just watching Doug Doppler this past Saturday after RJ, and Doug is way into old PV amps, and he just found and bought one of those old 4-button foot switches because he needed one for his PV amp and he couldn't find it. And he also just got the Leonard Skinner amp. He got the Mace head with the 4x12, the giant 4x12 cabinet.
Nice.
He's gonna do like the whole Skinner rig, I think.
So yeah, that's the saving grace of that thing is it needs a couple pots replaced, but it's got the original foot switch, which you can run that thing in series or parallel or 2-channel.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, you have your AB, or you want to run them in series or parallel. Series was cool because you can definitely gain stack within the amp itself, which was cool.
Yeah.
But the parallel I really liked because it was almost a wet dry right there, where you would have clean and dirty at the same time. I'm like, well, this is trippy. I dig that.
Now, Ben, you had just picked up the Strat and you were going to address me and Tom about something.
That was what I put up on the screen.
Okay. I just thought you didn't get it out and got distracted by something else. So.
Nope, that was it.
Distracted.
I think we've pretty much covered everything. So last minute question, folks. We're going to go for a few more minutes here.
Symmetry says just adapt your pickups to use dilithium crystals warp tone. That's the next step.
Yeah.
How long before we can upload our consciousness to the guitar?
Yeah. This is the tone I want. That's your tone print, right? You're just
Goes right you put the headphones on and two little things go right into your brain.
Yeah. There's like everybody does this, but all of these interfaces is just a clone.
Still plug in pedals together and then
That sounds great. What is it? It's a clone playing a clone.
Yeah, right.
Well, it's like the funny thing about the 80s when multi-effects were becoming a thing. It's like, oh, you're one of those people that still uses effects pedals connected to each other. I have rack gear, or I have a multi-effect unit. Yeah. So I have one unit that does it all.
Yeah.
And now it's like, yeah, but you're stuck with one shitty phaser, 2 shitty choruses, and an okay overdrive. So I can mix and match. That's why they're back. Now you see they have rack unit fridges, but it's all drawers of pedals.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a hybrid.
You know what's funny? When I see really professional racks, it almost seems like they're using 1 to 6%, in the mix of all of these units. But what they're really trying to do is they're trying to mimic what happens in the studio, where you go on the board, you EQ it, like you have a Baxendale EQ, you throw in a little, EQ, you get a little boost, certain frequencies, you throw some nice compression on, you have a limiter. If it's vocals, you use it, like a de-esser. You just do everything just to kind of just that studio just shimmer to it,
Mm-hmm.
And that almost seems like Landau and those guys seem like that's what, and Lukather, like what they were trying to do. They kind of wanted to get that studio thing added to their live sound.
Well, if you want to add that to your live sound, I'm not going to say a Cascade Reverb by Lawrence.
Is that a plate reverb?
It is.
There you go.
Dude, I'd never played with plate before because shitty plate reverb pedals, they always hit too hard on the front end. It has an envelope filter effect, right?
Yep.
And Lawrence is the first one where I'm like, oh, crap. And that's where I've been living.
Like
Telly in a middle position with the Dutch, plate reverb, a lot of plate reverb. And I'm getting my Larry Mitchell on, and it's like you just play a little scale, and it just blooms, and
it sounds like angels are throwing each note into the air.
And then you just throw this, and I noticed too, Tom, with the Unlimited, because it's got the tone. If you put the tone back at like 9 o'clock position and roll in a note, and then it's holding it infinitely, and then you turn the tone and then roll in the same note again, but it'll do a variant on the shimmers.
Nice.
Oh yeah, so by the end of it, you can have a whole organ effect happening.
It's like painting with color in the air.
Oh yeah. I do not recommend operating when sober. Like, a sober person's gonna try it, Tom. And no offense to sober people.
And they're gonna be like, all right, here's the pedal. Here's your.
And they'll be like, oh, this is great pedal, Tom. It does this, this, and this. And you're like, yeah, but did you know it does this? And you're like, no. It's like, right, I did. That's the first thing I found out about it.
That's awesome. Yeah, you were telling me about that, like the freeze effect.
Yeah.
John Deshane with a question.
Any thoughts on the black hole reverb? I don't know the black hole.
I don't have the actual. If you're talking about the Eventide, I don't have or haven't played the actual pedal. But as far as I'm not concerned, I mean, as far as I'm aware,
there's the tagline right there. I need this on a T-shirt.
I build them sober so you can play them lit.
Damn straight.
That seriously needs to be on a T-shirt.
Yeah, and like a cartoon Lawrence with the voice bubble, and he's going.
Anyway,
I build them sober so you can play them lit.
John,
hey, Billy Baloney.
As I understand, it's the same algorithm on the H9, and I do really like the black hole reverb algorithm on the H9. It sounds great. So if you're talking about the Eventide one, I have that on my H9. It sounds really good.
I'm going to say, Zach, that was a young gentleman. I'm going to guess it was a dude. Probably got a job at GM, making a shit ton of money, more than money than he had ever made. Because, let's be honest, Tom, auto worker is a good paying job.
Yeah.
And you're like, dude, you get that first bonus, and you're like, I'm buying a fucking stack.
Yeah, that's
kind of like, so you want the head
overkill.
in the 412? You're like, no, I want all the 412s, A and B.
Yeah.
Give me all the 412s. Okay.
If they had a girlfriend, they no longer would have one after that.
Will you just turn it down? It's on one. Will you just turn it? It's on one. And he's tuning just for an hour.
Well, it's funny,
It's
like
a floating Floyd, so he's tuning for an hour at volume.
Keith H, that's
always
hilarious.
tuning at full volume, right?
Yeah.
I love when you go to YouTube and you see videos of it's like some little like church rec center and it's a punk band on stage and they're tuning literally like at full blast volume. And you're like, oh my lord! Like,
yeah.
Person's
Keith
because they're all using snarks.
Yeah.
Keith H's comment goes back to what Tom was saying about technology getting old and obsolete and such. He says, I have an old art processor, 4 banks with 100 channels each. I forgot how to change banks.
Does anyone make a 412 that comes standard with greenbacks, Tom?
I think I thought that Marshall still did, but I know Friedman does one. They do one that has 2 finished 32 greenbacks, but they also do their, I don't know if it's called a classic or what, but they do, or at least they used to do one that was, maybe they don't anymore. They used to do one that was 4 greenbacks.
There we are.
The one that Marshall did was the AX, 1960 AX, which was like the vintage spec one.
Yeah.
That's 4 greenbacks. But I'm pretty sure.
All right.
Metalworks is Friedman. I'm pretty sure Friedman still does.
See your gear junkie.
Oh, Avatar does as well.
They-
That's right. I have 3 Avatar cabinets. They make 4 Avatar cabinets. I'm sorry. They make great stuff. I have 3 of their open back 212s and 1 of their.
Yeah,
closed-
similar Eric, but not the same. The PV Sheffields, they're in the family, but they're not the same.
Yeah. The PV Sheffields are what's in the 5150 cabinet, the original PV 5150. I thought they sounded good, but they're 75 watts.
I was gonna say, isn't the
Apparently, Chris has
orange
8
cabs-
Gents and PA10Rs he needs to unload. So if you're in the market,
Wow.
hit up Chris.
Where does he live?
Where do you live, Chris?
Generally, I mean, like.
Earth.
Oh, he's on Earth. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So local. He's local. He's on Earth.
That's like 2 super reverbs, or one of those giant Marshall. What are they? Oh, bad boy! You can't remember the number of the model number. What's the model number? I think it's 1970 of the 8x10.
Marshall
Yeah,
does
that's
4
what I thought,
greenbacks.
too.
Paul says he checked recently.
Yeah.
Terry, here you can give me my lashing.
And Chris is in Texas.
Always
Tom.
remember your Marshall model numbers.
So there you go. It's just a short jaunt over to Texas.
I was gonna say, wasn't
Oh, far
the
from me.
Vibro Champ or Vibro King, wasn't that 310s?
Vibro King is 3x10. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
that's
weird
what I
because it's a
thought.
weird. You have to have a special transformer for the output. I forget what it was, like a 6.2 or some random in between. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So on that
why
note-
that would be weird.
We've basically hit an hour and a half.
Nice.
My joints are inking, and not in a good way. Any
You
final
can join for
thoughts,
that.
Terry, on this Monday of Mondays?
Stay warm, be safe. Treat each other as well.
Works for
Enjoy
me.
the hockey season. Enjoy sports season now that it's back upon us.
Go sports. Sure. Hey, still a couple races left in the NASCAR season. Just saying. Yep. Tom, parting words, my friend.
Just
might be
tell people that are important to you that they are important to you, because you don't know if you're going to have them tomorrow. You really don't.
So true.
Yes,
I know.
very
I'm,
true.
I'm going
and
to a
thank you
memorial this Saturday,
For the
Tom.
green gifts of Mother. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yep.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. So, yeah.
Yeah.
We had a
so-
loss from the local music community recently. He had moved out west a few years ago. One of Richie's best friends growing up. Did a lot for the community and definitely going to be missed. So we're going to be meeting, for those who knew, actually, because we do have some local viewers, I should mention. Like we had Pete in the chat last night. For those of you who knew Dane Hewitt, we will be meeting this Saturday at 2 p.m. at the Frankfurt Tourist Park, which is the Bay and Shell. It's the same place where we held the festival that Mark and I talked about a couple weeks ago in the video. And Dan was at that festival. I don't know if he played, but he probably did the lights because that's the way he rolled. Oh no, he was at Larry Palooza that day. That's why he was not there. But that's where we're doing the memorial from, I believe, 2 until 4. And I don't know what that entails. I think it's just going to be a bunch of us just getting together and sharing stories and hanging out and hugging each other. And so, yeah. So definitely, yes. Hug those that you love. Tell people how you feel. You know, spread positivity and all that.
Cornhole is real.
Cornhole is real.
Half wants a rematch.
Yeah.
When you get the
Look at that.
rematch.
There you go.
Oh God, I spoke it, and you're
See,
like
I
you
told
said,
you
Ben.
can't say it more than once, Terry. I said that last night. We said it once last night and got away with it. Yes, Mark and I were over here last week cleaning out the garage, making room for Dad's car. And
Nice.
part of that was moving the cornhole boards, Tom. So
Oh.
since we had to move them, we might as well move them outside and maybe have a match or two.
You gotta loosen the boards up, make sure they work still.
Well, we just had to
Test
check,
them
you
out.
know,
We'll test them.
yeah, shockingly, I lost both games. Mark had never played before, and he still beat me. But you know what the problem was, Tom? After about 10 minutes, he goes, "This is kind of like throwing horseshoes." I said, "Yeah." And he went, and he kind of smirks, and I said, "Ah, crap," because I remember, I think they had horseshoe pits at his house growing up. Yeah,
Oh.
you know, like, yeah.
So he had the
It's
muscle.
like you shooting pool at the pool hall, and then with your buddy from high school, and all of a sudden you're like, "Wait, you were the kid in high school that had the pool table at the house?" Yeah, one of those situations.
Yeah.
I just realized, Ben, how to fix this situation. Zamboni, Zamboni, Zamboni.
No, that's just wrong. So, on that note, folks, as always, if you haven't already, please subscribe, leave a thumbs up. It doesn't cost you a thing. If you're watching on replay, leave a comment down below. If you have a question for us that you want us to answer next week, make it a first and actually leave a comment. Sure, that might happen. I don't know.
Dale
Till
at
next
the
time,
end.
he's Tom. That's Terry. I'm Ben. Dale at the end, of course.
Deal at the end.
Dale at the end. And yeah, hold those doors open. Let that lady in ahead of you in traffic do good things. Good things will happen to you. Why? Down and Back with Corn Dog's wife is real. He'll be co-hosting with me tomorrow night. NAS Canucks, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, recapping Kansas Speedway. Shit went down. Just saying, shit went down. Yep. Be good to each other. Happy tone chasing. Don't let her.